Chances are you know this moment. You're in a database, you've already downloaded 12 articles, you tell yourself, I should probably stop, and then your brain whispers, but what if the next search is the one? So you tweak one word, you add another synonym, you run it again, and you keep going. Not because you're learning something radically new, but because stopping, it feels irresponsible. I'm Nick. This is Dr. Cranky Pants Teaches, and today we're talking about when to stop collecting, because no one tells you when to stop. There's no bell. There's no dashboard that says, congratulations, you've reached sufficiency. So if you don't develop a rule, you're going to default to anxiety, and anxiety will keep you in the database forever. Here's a distinction that matters. There is a difference between anxiety and saturation. Anxiety says, what if I missed something? Saturation says, new searches are no longer changing my understanding. Now, they feel a bit similar, but they are definitely not the same. Anxiety is emotional. Saturation is intellectual, and professional judgment is knowing which one you're experiencing. So what is saturation? It is not, I've found everything ever written. It is not, no one could possibly critique this review. Trust me, they will find a way. It is this. Additional searching is no longer introducing new conceptual categories, new mechanisms, or new tensions in the literature. The landscape has stopped expanding. Let's make that concrete. Early in your search process, every article shifts something. You refine your claim. You realize your criteria are too broad. You discover a mechanism you hadn't considered. You adjust. That's productive instability. That's growth. But later, you start seeing repetition. Another study confirming the same intervention. Another correlational design showing the same pattern. Another population variation with no new conceptual move. Now we're moving into redundancy, and redundancy is not bad. It strengthens confidence. But when redundancy dominates, volume increases without understanding increasing in ratio. That's signal one. Signal two is diminishing returns. Ask yourself, are new articles changing my criteria? Are they introducing new mechanisms? Are they forcing me to revise my argument? If the last several downloads have not shifted your thinking in any meaningful way, you may not be deepening your understanding. You just may be postponing writing. And that's where we introduce something you can actually use. You need a stop rule. Not a vibe, not a mood, a rule. So here it is. After each substantial search round, document 3 things. What new conceptual category emerged? What new mechanism or theoretical move appeared? And did my inclusion criteria change? And if the answer to all 3 questions is no across 2 consecutive search rounds, chances are you're at saturation. That right there is your pivot point. Let me show you what this looks like. Imagine you're researching instructional routines that influence vocabulary growth in multilingual elementary classrooms. Your first search round might be you discovering explicit modeling as a central mechanism. That's new. It changes your thinking. In the second round, you discover structured peer interaction as another mechanism. Also new. Your understanding expands. In your third round, you find studies combining modeling and peer interaction. Refinement. Still productive. In your fourth round, you find another modeling study. Fifth round, another peer interaction study. Sixth round, similar design, different demographic, same mechanism. Now ask, did I encounter a new mechanism? Nope. Did I encounter a new theoretical framing that shifts interpretation? Also no. Did my criteria need revision? No. 2 consecutive rounds of conceptual stability. That's saturation. That right there is your stop rule activating. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you keep searching at that point, it is rarely about rigor. It's about avoidance. I know nothing about that. Collecting feels productive, while writing feels exposing. Collecting postpones commitment. Writing requires you to say, this is what the literature shows. Stopping is the moment you move from gathering to governing. Now, let's talk about time, because you are not doing this in a vacuum. You are doing this while teaching, grading, working, and just generally existing. Every unnecessary article you download is time you will later spend reevaluating whether it belongs. Every unnecessary search round delays synthesis. Professional judgment includes time protection. Sufficiency is not laziness, it is discipline. And let's be clear about something else. You can always return to the database later. Stopping now does not mean never again. It means I have enough to justify my claim at this stage. That is the standard. Enough to justify, not enough to exhaust the universe. So after your next search session, don't just count downloads. Ask, what changed? Did I discover a new mechanism, a new conceptual category, a new tension? Did my criteria shift? And if nothing changed across 2 rounds, apply that stop rule. Close the database, open your outline, and begin shaping your argument. You're not quitting. You're pivoting. You're not being reckless. You're being deliberate. And deliberate beats endless every time. Stopping is governance. It's you deciding your role is to not hoard knowledge. It's to shape it. And if you're waiting to feel completely certain before you stop, that feeling is never going to arrive. What arrives instead is a moment where you can say, I understand this terrain well enough to make a claim. That right there, that's the pivot. That's the work. If this means stopping feel less like quitting and more like exercising professional judgment, that matters. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one.